Oh, hope you guys are having a wonderful morning, though. Evening, morning-ish. My time schedule is slipping further and further back into oblivion before I start streaming. This is the way it goes. Also kind of what happens when I watch something after dinner, I guess, during dinner. I started watching Narcos Mexico. Pretty good. Like a docudrama based on, kind of current events. Not current events, past events. Like a documentary. But of course they take their liberties with it. I've always been pretty impressed with what Narcos is. Like they do a good job of turning kind of history that's kind of boring into a pretty dramatic series. Cool shit. These glasses are definitely fucked up. There's something wrong with the left lens. I was talking about this last night. Like, whenever I look, like, a little bit to the left side here, it just gets all sorts of fucking blurry. I don't know. Anyways. Tonight we're going to be covering the patch notes for Fortnite. It's a whopper. We're also going to cover the patch notes from Battlefield, which we did not do last time. There's not really much here. I had never really covered Battlefield patch notes because they aren't really usually that interesting. Over the patch for Battlefield 5, which I didn't cover, is a little bit bigger because it includes like some kind of, it's not really DLC, but it's like an expansion content. It's basically a content patch, I guess you could say. It's partially a content patch. They added a new map. There's some things here we'll go over in a second here. Sometimes Battlefield does a pretty cool write-up when they talk about, like, they did a big one when they redid their netcode in Battlefield 4, which I talk about on occasion. Or Battlefield 3, one of the two. I think it's Battlefield 4 when they redid their netcode. Also, it's tough. It's like this year for Christmas, not really been interested in buying gifts. Because it takes a lot of work, especially if you want to find a gift that's just like people... a good gift can take a lot of work, And actually, currently, right now, I'm trying to find a gift for my brother. I have no idea what to get him. I have about a $200 limit, because I actually have his name for gift exchange, too, so I just kind of lump everything together. Got a generic present for my younger brother. Got him like got both of them actually, wobble sockets and then flexible head ratchets for automotive work. Not just automotive, but in general, they work really, really good. I was using them when I work on my Saab. Wobble sockets are super fucking nice. When you have to get to a bolt that's at a weird angle and you can't really get your wrench in there very well, it like changes the angle just a little bit so you can get in and put pressure on it. They're super, super nice to have. Super nice to have. That and adjustable head ratchets where you can ratchet at an angle. Those are so fucking good. Both those things together. I knew when I used them I had to get them for my siblings. Other than that, not really sure. Like, my dad has pretty much everything, so it's impossible to find a gift for him. He's one of those people. I just bought everything that he ever wants. Much kind of like me. However, I don't really have a lot of things that I want and anything that I actually need. Computer related. And almost no one has the expertise to pick it out for me. That and basically any sort of I put into my computer, so kind of can't go anywhere with that one. Anyways, ended up like last year I think I got him a bidet. It wasn't that great of a bidet. Oh, maybe I'll get my brother a bidet. Like he ended up getting the one that I got for my dad, and I gave him money instead because he didn't want it. Lo and behold, he didn't want it. You can get some really nice bidets. They're more expensive, though. Like the ones that are heated, like massaging and pulsating and shit like that. Oh, look at that. Heated? Feel the difference. Oscillating, white clean, pulsating massage technology with bubble infusion. Oh, yeah. But anyways, the bidet I got from my dad was a cheapie. It was like $50. And basically, you hook it up to the incoming water from your faucet, and then it'll shoot you, it separates it into like a beam that shoots into your asshole. Which I guess works for cleaning stuff, but then this is basically stuff I got picked up. Got my stepdad cigars, because he's actually really easy to buy for. He just likes cigars because he doesn't buy them. But I get him a bunch of cigars for Christmas, and then he uses them throughout the year. Mom, I have no idea what to get her. She's a weird oddity right there, because she doesn't really do anything. She doesn't really have any hobbies. So it's kind of the weird thing is like trying to find stuff for people that don't have hobbies is really, really difficult. Like when they don't go and do something with their time. So I got her a oil essential set again. Kind of on this expensive side. I don't think this heats the water either. Energy save mode reduces electricity in toilet paper. What? How would an energy save mode on here reduce toilet paper? I understand that using a bidet reduces toilet paper, but how would it... And you still need to wipe, by the way. If you use a bidet, unless you like having a wet ass crack, you still use toilet paper to wipe your ass crack to dry it. Unless the bidet has a built-in, like, dryer. Which almost none of them do. Like the good ones, they throw in like a heated toilet seat and shit. The touch of a button cleansing is followed by a hands-free, mild, warm, air dry. Oh! Heated, soft closing seat provides comfort and relaxation at the temperature you control. That's pretty cool. It's like a fucking Star Destroyer. It's a Star Destroyer for your ass, guys. It's an ass destroyer. Ah, look at that. But my brother had it, and he tried it out, and the one that I got my dad, because I wasn't going to send it back, because it wasn't worth that much, and I didn't feel like sending it back anyways. And I tried it. It does, if you turn that thing on full blast, it takes all the water pressure, and my brother has pretty good water pressure in his house. After he changed out his water main, that was an ordeal in and of itself. When it takes that water pressure, it turns it into like a fucking pencil, and then it just catapults that fucking water straight into your asshole. Like ice cold water. Well, after a little bit, that's what my brother did, by the way. He had horror stories about that. You turn it on a little bit, it's not as bad, but you turn that thing on full blast, it just shoots that shit right up there. But he said you'd be more interested in it if the water was actually heated or something like that. Do you have to plumb hot water line, or does it have a reservoir? Don't need a hot water line, but that means the water's not heated. This heat heats the water. Wow, so for a $200 toilet seat to have the paint rub off. Even on the lowest setting, the water pressure is almost painfully high for cleansing. Even after 2 cycles, expect to use toilet paper. I don't remember the settings for pressure. For a $200 toilet seat, that's kind of a big deal. The $200 fucking toilet seat, and they don't even adjust the pressure properly, and it forgets your settings. What the fuck is wrong with people? Just returned from Korea, and I can honestly say this bidet is comparable to the ones that I use at 5-star. Maybe you got a defective one. Pushes you forward by 3 inches. Kind of weird that they do shit like this. Like, it looks like they put the tank behind the seat, and you probably put it under the console here instead. Can't use the space anyways. Last half a year. Yeah. $200 for a toilet seat, guys, and it's like a cheap plastic toy. That's pretty ridiculous. Like, you can get more longer lasting, just like a normal $20 toilet seat from like Menards or wherever you live. Seems to do a decent wash job, easy to use, easy to install if you have GCI outlet. Low controls of water pressure make little difference. That from earlier. Pretty disgusting. Kind of the weird shit you find on Amazon, guys. Like, you're like, oh, look how many reviews this has. This looks so good. And you just start reading about it, and it's just like a cheap plastic trinket from China. Oh, $360. That's a little out of my budget. $485. Only $664, guys. That's supposed to be nuts? What is that? There's a female picture and then butt cleaning. This is for front on women, I guess, for vaginal cleaning. I think that's supposed to differentiate. I thought it was a differentiation between male and female, which it just cleans your ass, and this cleans both. Oh, you know, sometimes you want to wash your scrotum though, so you know. Master remote control. Oh boy, no. Oh. And why would they put the... Why'd they put all the shit behind the toilet seat? I mean, I guess it kind of makes it look... This looks super look how big that fucking is on the seat. Super intrusive. I'd rather have shit hanging off the side than have it stuffed behind the toilet seat. May not fit. Yeah, no shit. Heated seat is a nice touch. Definitely, if you guys live up north or really anywhere where it gets like snow on the ground, sort of shit, like here, having a nice warm toilet seat is actually kind of nice. What is e-water? That just heated water? They call it e-water plus. Does it filter the water? E-water is a safe and powerful compound that cleans the wand and toilet bowl after every use. What? Probably just has like a fucking, they couldn't use chlorine tablets. There's stuff that's like chlorine tablets that's easier on your plastic. Chlorine will actually destroy plastics. You guys have ever owned this swimming pool? Talking about only $1,000. Wow. Oh, $800. How cheap it was during Black Friday, guys. Tough. Yeah, just like having it like a triangle here is kind of weird. Look how much that sticks up. It like literally looks like it'd push you off your toilet seat. Like, I'm a big guy. I'm a pretty big guy, guys, and like I need this space for like the rest of me, so I'm not just like squatting in front of the toilet, you know? Like, I need the space right here. Like, getting something like this would just be a huge turnoff. I don't know how people can use this shit. Just looking at that, I know it's gonna be a horrible experience. Back, I think that's just common. It's where they stuff all their shit. No pun intended. I think this is actually the one that I bought. Hot and cold water. So this requires both water lines. You'd have to run it from your sink. Caution, very hot. I actually went without warm water and took it off and installed one with warm water. The warm water is actually extremely important to me because of the fact that it cleans you so much better, quicker, and really makes you feel more refreshed. Not to mention the fact that it's so much more comfortable. Thanks, Philip. Doesn't mind the cold water. I've used one with cold water. You know, I guess if you live down south, the water there is never really that cold. Once again, if you live up north, guys, you're gonna have cold water that comes out of the ground that is above freezing. And if you've ever blasted your asshole with freezing cold water, not frozen, but you know, cold water to the point where it's almost freezing. Yeah, I think whether or not you enjoy the cold water depends entirely on how cold the water actually gets, which depends entirely on your climate. So if you live up north, you live up north, and you get the bidet without the hot water. Yeah. You do not want it hot, nor do you want it too cold. I've experienced the cold and I do not like it. I always run the clean first until the hot water runs through the pipes. Okay. Good for him. Or good for her. Lady. I admit I thought the people who just complain about cold water were just being a bit dramatic. I live in the Midwest and I install mine just cold water until we Get to a different size water line. The hot water. The cold water is really cold. I didn't like it at all. Just adding a little bit of hot water makes the difference in the world. I would highly recommend going for the warm water. Yeah, welcome to the Midwest. Anywhere up north, guys. Ken, the hot water is important because it relaxes the anal muscles, results very positively in cleaning. I'm sure that's how that works, but thank you, Arnie. Arnie. I made a video. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go. Dude, they had to have soaked him. How is he stopping the water stream right now? Because it definitely shoots out of the toilet bowl. This is like hitting his chest right now. Like, look where it's shooting. He has to have like a bowl or a plate or something that he's using to stop this so you can't see. But then does he have like a fucking mount for his camera on his face or something? Very visible eyesore because you can see the lines coming out of the unit. Okay. Lots of plastic. May take a long time before your bidet water can warm. Long review. Fine review. A 500 reviewer might have actually got it for free. I don't know. I don't know what I want to get my brother, guys. I don't know if I want to do a bidet again. It's an option. Ugh. $485. Nozzles. Nozzle cleaning. Water pressure. Simultaneous wash. Rear wash. Woman. Woman? Why did they say rear wash and then specify woman? What does it mean? What do women have that needs particular washing? Why don't you tell us, bidet? Why don't you tell us? What is this? So this says pressure. Normally what they do for pressure is the front knob here that you turn actually does the pressure depending on how far you turn it. Feminine wash. Weird. There's like a bidet that didn't have the giant fucking honk thing on the back. It's another one with a big back, big booty. For his back, for her back. Why does he want little spritzers and she wants a steady beam? What am I missing here? How is the anus different for guys than chicks? And why do they need different things? Maybe one's less intrusive and you expect women to be more interested in something that's intrusive? Ah. Cool idea. Just like definitely I could see this being like if my brother's a big guy too. He's a big guy too. And I can totally imagine if I had something like this extra real estate here that's being taken up by the back would just be horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. I already have like toilets that have problems like sitting on if they're too small, especially the little round guys. You're sitting there, you're almost like in a squat just sitting there. Just trying to keep your ass on it. An actual bidet. I never really understood the whole actually having like a whole nother appliance in the bathroom. If that's what you could call it. When I was in Europe, there was a lot of the hotels basically came with bidets in them. Never used one, but they're there. I actually, like, if you've ever seen a bidet, it doesn't look like something you could easily clean, so I don't really understand. Like, you're basically sticking your genitals in something where someone else basically sticks their genitals and then touching things that people... I mean, it's kind of what the toilet is, but it's a little bit more intimate as far as that goes. Days are really expensive, too. Heated toilet seat's also a nice touch, too. Day towels, natural bamboo. Huh. Off or something? Maybe that's what I saw when I was over there, too, is like there's a nozzle on the front. You have to aim it somehow, right? Handheld personal bidet. That's something. Oh, God. Carry toilet paper around with you. Seriously. Bum bidet in a bottle. Witch hazel and pure essential oils. Hoop stop. Hoop stoop. Full squat toilet footstool. You mean like the squatty potty? It has like its own little page. What the fuck? Oh, with demo. Wow. Got some tats. Nut oil. Huh. Say. Form. This is like someone's pet project. This is totally like someone's pet project that they just came up with, and they decided to sell it on Amazon after getting some funding. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. Still up in there. I have no idea. No idea what to get them. This year, in general, just not really been very interested in Christmas and figuring out what people want for Christmas. Just like right up in the air. Have no idea. No idea what I want to give people. I got my dad 24 pounds of popcorn because he eats popcorn. Amish popcorn. Not exactly sure how well that's going to go over, but he eats popcorn, so, you know, I guess that's something, right? Yeah, the only present I really don't have figured out. My younger brother just got generic gifts for. As you can see, there's duplicate things in my cart. And then I got this. I got this for my dad, too. And this is a good gift for my younger brother, who owns his own house now. It's actually pretty cool. So normally, if you fill up car tires, you have a chuck, and then you have the air tester. This does both in the same thing, which is actually really nice. And it has a bleeder built into, so you don't have to take it off and do it. It takes like a normally like 10-minute job filling up your tires, maybe less than that, 7-minute job filling up your tires in like 3. That 2, you just have to take the caps off. That's the longest part. Otherwise, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea what to get them. He lives in Switzerland. I wonder what's big in Europe that he doesn't have. Something all the cool kids have in Europe. I thought about getting him a projector. The thing about the mobile projectors is all the the really small ones. Really small projectors are all, they don't have any like lumens whatsoever. They put out 0 lumens. AXA ones, these I've looked at. Some of them are really cool, but they don't put out much lumens at all. Pretty P2A. The P300 is like $300. The cool thing about this, guys, if you get one of these, you can actually hook your phone up to it, so you can do Android, you can do Wirecast to it, or Android Chromecast. You can Chromecast to it. 130 lumens. HDMI. This is, like, you can totally tell this is like a startup company that just started doing stuff. And their models keep looking better and better. Done 20p. I'll get bigger, but these are also a lot more expensive. $480p too. You don't look at the max. Max resolution just means it can accept the input, which is completely frivolous. These are only like 100 lumens. 100 lumens is like a light bulb. That's like, it's like almost nothing. Almost nothing. And the batteries are so small on these, you have to plug it in, which is another downside. And one of the reasons I didn't buy one of these is because it's so small. You have to basically get a separate battery pack to plug it in. 25 lumens. Ultra bright 25 lumens. Those two things don't go together. So 25 lumens is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think like a 100 watt LED light bulb is like 600 lumens. Just kind of like a comparison here, guys. 25 lumens is nothing. This is like a keychain light. Charge your projector while in use. Just make sure you have a USB AC adapter with 5 volts and 1 amp. Better. Don't get warm from this. Dude, I mean, just look how small this is. This is not a lie when you see this, and it looks like this. It's literally like 3x3 cube, 2x2 cube. Technically 2x2x2 cube. $130 lumens is probably the bare minimum you need. Like, if you use 130 lumens in a room that's lit, it's difficult to actually see the picture. The projector I had was 300 lumens that I was using, and that was borderline not good enough. So, like, something like this, for instance, 150 minutes, if you have to plug it in, one of the reasons I got a different projector for myself, personally, was because the battery is bigger. Like, half of the projector is actually like a battery. And 150 minutes is, I guess it's a little bit more than a 2.5 hour movie. 120 plus 30, 2.5 hour movie. Of course, your batteries get worse over time, so this is going to dwindle too, which is, I think the projector I got lasts 4 hours on battery. Five stars. Wirelessly connect to a passport hard drive. That's pretty cool. Basically, you can put content on a hard drive and then connect to it. Depending on which projector you get, these have built-in OSs, so they function like a smart device. It is pretty cool in and of itself. Mirrored it off my phone through cable, and noticeable difference in quality, sound, or picture. That's, I don't know if it's for all devices, but I did that with my other projector that I had, and it was definitely a difference. It was a 720p projector, and you can notice the difference between the two. Runs smoother.
Too much time on our hands, so we've been looking at ourselves too much. It's like if anybody meets your demands, you get embarrassed and you start to blush. When everyone's opinions are wasted, it's getting too complicated. What's this version of a civilized?
Someone's trying to sell it used for $600. Oh yeah? $720p native. Is 530. So this is a newer product. I love this tracker, by the way. I love. This is called Keepa. I love Keepa because it can actually generally tell how long a product has been on Amazon. It's actually really helpful for determining the life of a product when it's first appeared on the market. AXAA is kind of weird. They kind of do weird things. HD Pico P2B P2A. Include it. Wi-Fi 9. Oh, this is only 50 lumens. Okay, so you think like having like a resolution is a big deal. I had a 720p projector, and then when we were watching movies when I was in Europe, it wasn't actually that big of a deal. Depends on what you watch. The lumens is actually probably a bigger deal than the resolution. Both matter, but lumens make such a huge difference. Like when you have a projector, light infiltration matters a lot, where the light just kind of takes over the picture, and then you can't actually like see what you're watching. If lights are on, for instance. This is one of the projectors I was originally looking at. That did not sell me. 20 lumens, like $400. 300. They have a lot of different products here, and they kind of actually just take over. Like, they actually cannibalize their own lineups here. There isn't enough differentiation between the products. Keystone is also very important. That's for focus. And you can't replace the bulb. New projectors, the Pico projectors, have LED bulbs. Means the projector dies basically when the bulb dies. As far as I know. I actually looked at projectors. I was thinking about actually getting a projector before I got my TV, my OLED TV. I was looking at getting a projector instead. I was going to get a laser projector. And still very very conflicted about what I should have actually like purchased. And I think it like the choice for me was basically your projector is only as good as it's only as good as your screen and the lighting in your room. So basically, in order for you to use a projector in a home theater setup, you have to turn off lights. And that means whenever you want to watch TV, you have to turn off lights. And living in the dark constantly is kind of depressing. It's very depressing, guys. Very depressing. It's not something that I'd want to do. Heard about something only 50 lumens. Yeah, looks like this. This is 50 lumens, so this isn't actually that bad. Keystone, this is for a different model. Oh, this is right. That's definitely comparable to what 50 lumens looks like. borderline. Like, you could watch this if you're in like a hotel room or something where you have low standards, but not something you want for a home theater projector. Not getting enough juice to turn off when they're trying to watch a video. You need to have a good AC adapter. Cool. Hmm. 50 watts is kind of low. Keystone's kind of a big deal. Keystone's kind of a big deal, guys. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, moving on here. This is kind of something I've been thinking about the last couple days, and I just kind of trying to organize my thoughts here. I still don't know what to give my brother. Fun. A day. These are like, I got a nebula. It's not a capsule, I got a different nebula. Like a small toaster. I showed it to you guys on stream when I bought it. 720p. This guy. I got the Mars Light. 300 ANSI lumens. I ended up sending it back because every time I turned on it off of battery save for the projector and turned on to the normal mode, it would cause it to drop out. Like the projector would just shut off and turn back on every couple minutes. Very weird. Bug report. Oh yeah. So, moving on, guys. Moving on. Let's first take a look at the Battlefield 5 patch notes. This came out a couple days ago. I believe it was on the 3rd, so 3 days ago. And what they did was they added a new map. It's a new single-player war story. So we haven't done any of the war stories in Battlefield 5. Last Tiger, a multiplayer map called Panzerstorm, and a practice range where you can hone your skills and more. So for, what I've heard, Last Tiger is basically a story about a Tiger tank, which are really, really powerful tanks in World War II. Very, very powerful. Like, it was like 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio between, like, Shermans were just pieces of shit, by the way. Whoever decided to have a Sherman tank had no idea what they're, like... If you just look at these, it makes sense why these were so disposable. Whoever the fuck thought this, they have like a giant sloped front here. Whoever thought this was a good idea. Nope. No, sir. No, sir. It's like basically having a wall just waiting for a tank run to punch through it. Really bad idea. Really fucking horrible. Like, if this was actually backwards, if this turret was, like, if it drove backwards and the engine was up here, it probably actually would have had a better chance of survival. But the front of the tank literally looked like this. It's like a fucking brick wall. I don't know why they ever thought that was a good idea in design. But they did, and that's the way they made them. So it's just like waiting for a tank run to punch through here. Obviously, if you know anything about ballistics, if you have a slope, it's better. So if you have a thin slope or a smaller cross section where you have to aim, it's better. This is just a giant fucking area you can basically hit anywhere with a gun and just punch through it, or the side of the tank for that matter. Artillery or tank buster, one of the two. These guys. I just love Panzer tanks. Chassis. Germans had a lot of really... Nazis had a lot of really good tanks relative to everyone else. Not just tanks, just like machines in general. So. Oh, we had numbers, and that's really just what did them in. That must be a chore and a half to take care of right there. The armor covering the muffler exits. Wonder if that's by default or that was added after. Prevent magnetic mines from adhering to the tank's armor. I've never heard of magnetic mines. Ordered 1,500 tanks, more than 1,300 Tiger 1s. Production was severely disrupted by Allied bombing raids, among others. 5 raids between 22nd of September and October 7th, destroying 95% of the floor area of the Henschel plant. Loss of production 657 Tiger 2s. 492 units were produced. It had 300,000 man-hours to manufacture and cost over 800,000 Reichmarks or 1,000 USD. $4.2 million today. Cool. Anyways, going back to the patch notes, the last Tiger is basically a story about coming to the end of the World War II. When Allies were basically invading Germany, and it's like one of the last tanks that was alive, or last tank crew that's alive, and basically I wonder what happens to them at the end. Practice range where you can hone your skills. Every game that takes itself seriously should have a practice range. Anywhere you can practice. I've talked about this multiple times. Depends on your game, but every game should have a practice mode. Any sort of battle royale game should have a practice mode where you can go and test guns and weapons and different stats and things. When new patch notes come out and stuff like that, especially because they're pretty easy to make. A multiplayer map called Panzer Storm is supposed to be a tank map. That just links to another part of their website. This document will summarize the most noteworthy changes. See the full update notes here. Let's take a look at the full. Oh my god, it's a PDF. Weird. U.S. Army pushes a vast number of Sherman tanks and artillery and hosts of infantry under cover of tank-busting air superiority. Meanwhile, your orders are advanced to meet them. Yep. Multiplayer Panzer Storm. Map intent. This is like a white paper for their expansion. That's kind of weird. Our latest experience focuses on tanker crew fantasy by offering vehicle-centric gameplay with light infantry support roles. Strategy and communications are key between squad mates in order to create a the ultimate tanker crew. Fortifications, repair, and supply stations are scattered across the map become crucial to survival of your vehicle. And test out practice range. Not a fan of this format. Like Epic and Blizzard do a really good job of spacing out their patch notes and not making it too tactical, but then also not oversimplifying it. Through fixed infinity loading screens. Fix an issue where vehicle, passenger, gunner, turret animations do not align with where player is aiming. I've seen that before. Made tweaks to the Conquest soft catch-up mechanics. Catch-up will be activated when the losing team is very far behind instead of rounds that they are fairly close. They're trying to deal with the fact that one team just gets stomped. That's difficult to do. That's difficult to do because they don't usually load balance servers either, so people just leave and then they don't randomize the teams or anything. Reducing the amount of ammunition, forward firing machine guns and cannons. From what I've seen with the airplanes, it definitely seems like they have way too much ammo. And you're supposed to go back to pick up bombs, which is kind of cool actually. You had to do that back in Battlefield 2. And just having your bombs resupply after a little bit. Airplane zooming in one person will now give a 2.5x zoom. Far superior for scouting of the battlefield and aiming at long-range small targets. Should help planes like the fighters become more contact with ground combat. Yeah, from what I've seen people flying, it's very difficult to pick up people on the ground that are running around. Reduction to damage airplane parts take. An LMG buff to health of the engine of airplanes means that dogfights will no longer be determined by an almost guaranteed part disable. Stuka 37mm cannons have been adjusted to be more effective against direct fire against vehicles and less effective in slash against infantry. Like, this is all vehicle stuffs. Subsection. We haven't spent a lot of time in vehicles, so I'll have to weigh in on any of this. Okay, tanks were too vulnerable when engaging infantry. Players occupying the top gunner position, aka sniper bait position. That's where you first learn about why you never sit in a turret. Although in Battlefield 2, when you're in the turret, you could actually duck and actually be like completely covered. But in Battlefield 5, if you try ducking in a turret, it doesn't do fucking anything. Top gunners are still able to be blind fire the machine gun, somewhat protected from incoming shots, so you must be able to duck further now. Change has been made not to force spawn players that temporarily went AFK during transition or not back from their seats at start. Yes, I noticed that. Apparently, using anti-tank weapons depends a lot on your angle of attack. It's actually kind of cool. But if they don't explain this shit to you, like you don't know. Very weird. Lowest damage number is now 15. More easily disable to get critical hits, I guess. Let's just go with that. To more easily get critical hits, disable parts of vehicles. Overall maximum damage of Panzerfaust is dropping. The tank is still 2 shots. Now it's 3. Bug report. LMGs and soldier guns have been doing more damage to airplanes than intended. We have reduced the damage of soldier weapons against airplanes. Now, they're a threat, but not a killer of airplanes. Breakdowns no longer have strange movement, physics bugs after being dead for a certain amount of time. There are procedural face animations for voiceovers, so lips move now. Not just lips, maybe the whole face actually moves now. A lot of bug fixes. Small balance fixes to greatly reduce the damage of aircraft, light bombs versus tanks on the fighters. They nerfed throwing knives. Maximum damage range reduced from to 6.5 meters from 13 meters. Kind of ridiculous because throwing knives just like one-shot anyone and they had a huge hitbox. Reduce the number of throwing knives from 6 to 2.
Trade his guns for love, but he's caught in the crossfire. And he keeps waking up, but it's not to the sound of birds. The tyranny, the violent streets, deprived of all that we're blessed with. And we can't get enough.
Increase muzzle velocity of all SMGs.
Heaven, if you sent us down, so we could build a playground for the sinners, the player saints. You'd be so proud of what we made.
So kind of like a small buff to all SMGs.
You're the only refuge now for every mother, every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire. That's caught in the crossfire. I train my luck to know why he's caught in the crossfire. And I'm here waking up to the sun and the sound of birds.
Delayed airplane spawns in pre-round by 30 seconds as an intermediate measure to prevent bombers spawn killing players. That's like half the fun of being in an airplane is timing where people are going to show up on the map, so you can swoop down and just drop bombs and get like 8 kills at the beginning of the match, 6 kills, 10 kills. Please. Bug fixes. War story bug fixes. Spectator. Bug report. Ah, this is supposed to be like one of these. Whoever wrote this did this like right before they left for work and just pushed it. Like didn't actually have an editor look at this. Improved ray tracing. Not that it really matters. Almost everyone turns off ray tracing. The performance hit. Thanks, NVIDIA. Xbox console improvements. Okay. Reach out to our multiplayer producer. If you have any further topics you'd like to write about in future blog posts. Okay. My left lens is so fucked up. Basically everything we just covered. Okay. So, Battlefield 5 is just kind of a hodgepodge mess. So, I don't really have that good of a feel for the game yet. So it's really tough to actually look at changes that they make here and see, like see if stuff is broken and needs to be fixed. But mainly this patch, before I actually read the patch notes, I knew it was about ray tracing and trying to improve performance on it. Having looked at it, I don't know. A lot of balancing changes in here, though. Airplane 2.5 zoom is really nice, so I know that for sure. Okay. Let's actually look at a game that I can actually weigh in on. Let's take a look at Fortnite. So, this apparently will possibly be a very big, this is the start of Season 7. Very big patch. And apparently, as you can see here, hilarious if there's actually airplanes in Battle Royale. I don't know. This could just be a game mode. Also, the onesie outfit. Cool new skins coming in season, like a mesh of like fucking it's a costume from Kung Fu, I believe. I forgot what it's called. A traditional Asian Kung Fu, but then they also have snow pants on. Cool stuff. Art team for Fortnite is always just like on top. New trailer, guys. Let's watch the paraphernalia. Propaganda. Like a fucking Hallmark commercial. What the fuck? This is straight up just a Hallmark commercial. Oh. That cup literally looked like it's full of jizz. I wonder if there's actually going to be a melee weapon in Fortnite now. Hey. Snowman costumes. Huh. Bullshit. Do you know how they call people who don't buy skins? What they call people? No skins? I mean? Iceberg collides with the island. Discover new areas such as Frosty Flights, Polar Peak, and more. I wonder if that means the island will get bigger and there's more areas outside of the island. It'd be kind of weird because of the way the circle works. If you actually go to the outer edges of the island, you're going to be at a really big disadvantage. That being said, there's also a lot of people that don't drop out there. And, well, in other games where the map's been entirely too big, if you fuck up the map size with a battle royale game, like, it just leads to some areas of the map just no one being there, and or really lackluster fights because it messes with the density, the personal density. And of course, people just have to go outside of the map and then get fucked by the circle. So, that being said, I don't think people have really had issues with the circle for a long time in Fortnite. It isn't what it used to be. So a big feature that they're talking about here is the ability to save your created maps. Explore Fortnite Creative, a new experience where you can create, play, and save anything you want, you can imagine, on a private island. Save the world, the stand, fight a campaign. Okay. Wow. Way to just throw the save the world in there, you know. Way to just make me read about something I don't care about, Epic. Wow. Wow. So, basically, creative mode is where people just go on and they just chill out and they play Minecraft. Because why not? Actually, a really good experience to get people into the game. Much as I've talked about before, with Overwatch releasing their high-def models, Fortnite should 100% do the same thing so people can use them in fan-created content. I think that's actually a really good idea. They haven't done it yet. In other news, Fortnite is also getting, or Epic is also getting sued. It was actually hilarious. I think it was on Kotaku I read it. By another rapper for stealing. Well, let's take a look at this for a second here, guys. Kotaku, Fortnite, Millie, rapper 2 Millie. It's fucking hilarious. This isn't the first time, by the way. They've been sued multiple times for their dance moves, their dances, and an emote called Swipe It. That's the offending emote here. The interesting thing here is but what they followed this up with is accusing Epic, among other things, of copyright infringement and exploiting African American talent for profit in game. You know what exploits African American talent? Is when they talk about exploiting African American talent specifically to make money. And that's basically what's going on here. This is just look at that for a second. They're accusing Epic, of all companies, of exploiting African American talent for profit in the game. like not exploiting them as a person or them as like taking their dance, which you know they basically probably did. They're talking specifically about it being racist, which is fucking hilarious. Epic, like, if you've looked at any of the shit in Epic's games, like, they're like Blizzard. They just try to generally add like everything to the game and offend no one, you know. They try to be kind of all inclusive, and this is like straight up, like, they just go for the heavy hitters right here. They're being sued because one of the reasons is exploiting African American talent, not talent in general, but specifically they're targeting African American talent. Which racism, you know, racism is bad. Racism is bad, right? This is also bad, which is basically using racism as a bullet point, trying to rile people up and make it seem like Epic is doing something they totally aren't. Did they steal their dance? I mean, it's straight up just copied from them. However, are they exploiting African American talent? No, not at all. This actually takes away this takes away from their case here, right here. This right here, this little remark absolutely takes away from what they're talking about, because it makes it look like they're just playing the race card, which they are, just playing the race card. But anyways, apparently this is their dance. The U.S. started protecting dance. I didn't even know this existed, by the way. U.S. started protecting dances under copyright law, beginning with the Copyright Act of 1976. The last time copyright law underwent major revision, according to the lawsuit. I didn't know dances were particularly... Now reading this again, I read this earlier tonight when I was sitting on the shitter reading Twitter. U.S. started protecting dances under the copyright law. I thought this is just copyright in general. This doesn't pertain particular to dances. Choreographic work together with pantomimes were the first time explicitly named as one of the categories of copyrightable subject matter in the United States. Choreographic works. Dramatic works, choreography is the composition and arrangement of dance movements and patterns, usually intended accompanied by music as a distinct choreography. Pantomime is the art of imitating or acting out situations, characters, or other events. So, if you're on a stage dancing around, while there are other white actors and artists whose dance moves show up in Fortnite, the firm is citing this as a racial matter. Debate around the issue originally raised by Chance the Rapper back in July. Scrubs reunion played Turk on the show. Told the audience he never got any money from Epicus for his poison dance from the show. Ended up becoming the Fortnite's default dance move. You want to see it? You can play Fortnite because they jacked that shit. Do they actually cite where it is? Is it just moving your hands back and forth? Like, is this actually the dance move? No way. Looks like they're doing some shitty form of the robot. Basically every rap video ever made, by the way, looks exactly like this. You fucking shit. Am I missing something here, guys? What? Is it just moving your arms back and forth like this? Copyrightable? Like, what in particular? Like, going back and forth like this? Like, if you're talking like the dance of the Nutcracker or something, where they actually have exact moves they make on stage. You're just talking about, like, this is like every fucking, like, prom ever made. Just, like, people trying to look like they're dancing and shit. Is there something very particular? This lawsuit's literally gonna go nowhere. This is a joke. Unless I'm missing something here. Like maybe this is probably the closest thing, but it looks like he's dancing like a marionette. Like this guy's holding up, he's trying to pretend this guy's a marionette, right? And he's dancing on strings right now. And it's just like arm swinging like this. They're copywriting arm swinging. Yeah, this is such bullshit. Oh my fucking god. I hope this lawsuit gets shot down. This shit, like, it's one thing if they just straight up copy, like, dance moves, and I'm sure Epic has done that, but in no way, this is just like another guy trying to get in the limelight. What the fuck is this? Like, if you sway your body a little bit and move your arms around, it's copyright infringement. Yeah, this is their copyrighted move, guys. This right here is their copyrighted move. You fucking shitting me? Dude, you're so fucking full of shit. No wonder they cite racial intent, because they know their lawsuit's not going to go anywhere if they don't have anything that kind of strikes deep at the heart of every afraid American ever. Yeah, it's racism. It's totally what's going on here. Yeah, there's literally nothing in here. If it was like an exact copy, that might be something, but like he's making fucking brownies or something in a bowl. What the fuck, dude? It looked like he was stirring batter in a bowl. Is that copyrighted now too? You can't stir batter in a bowl anymore? Yeah, this is not choreographed movement whatsoever. This is just a bunch of guys swinging their arms around in the street. Now they're playing imaginary hacky sack. This is 18 million views too. Oh my god. Like he's like hacky sack mixed with the robot. Yeah, this like the best thing I can see that's related to the dance is their arms going like this. This lawsuit is literally not gonna go fucking anywhere, guys. This is, yeah, a fucking joke. No, okay. Oh, they just embedded it. I think they believe that they can railroad African American talent because they doubt that there will be any legal consequences. Oh my fucking god. There won't be, because that wasn't it. This other guy that said they copied the dance from Poison. Donald Faison, who played the Turk on the show, told Honest he never got any money from the Epic for his Poison dance. Like I said, there's a couple people that have mentioned their dances being copied. This is just like another form of swinging your arms around, and the only motion that I saw here that looked like they're doing in the video is kind of like going the in and out thing like this. Other than that, there's like no way, shape, or form that this is gonna go anywhere. Let's see. Poison dance. Turk Poison dance.
For coming to the audition in costume.
What costume?
Something funny?
Dude, I just came up with the perfect name for your band. Mercy Flush.
Do you think this is easy?
Sitcoms, guys. Yeah, that's pretty. Now this looks very similar to the dance in Fortnite. Where's the picture? The overlay showed a comparison between the two. This. I guess I was watching the wrong video. There we go.
With no, the animators at Epic copied this dance frame by frame. It matches so well, in fact, that it's 100% in sync with no speed alteration. So let's compare Poison to the in-game tracks right now and see if their speeds line up. I used the tempo tapper to find the exact BPM. Poison is 117 beats per minute. The original songs clock in at 100 beats per minute, which are significantly slower than Poison. If you look closely, you can see that the feet don't exactly line up to the beats of the song, and it's always bugged me. So what's the solution? Well, we can have Epic go back in and change the BPM of all of those tracks, but I had a different idea. I made a few tracks of my own.
Now this is straight up copying a dance. I don't know what the fucking that lawsuit's about, but this one, 100%.
Epic, if you're watching this, know that you can use any of this music 100% free of charge. I'd love to see it in the game. Anyway, I think it's time for me to get out of here, so thanks for watching.
Yeah, as would everyone. As would everyone. Okay. Interesting though. Yeah, so this lawsuit's, that was straight up copied. This one, however, is absolutely bullshit. Good for you. Good for you trying to attract attention to your brand name though. Alright, moving on. So we're actually originally covering the patch notes for 7.0. Battle Pass, Season 7. Oh, we got another propaganda. By the way, their fucking art team at Epic is top-notch. It's not Blizzard. It's not Blizzard. Blizzard does a really good job with their shit. It's not Blizzard. It is extremely good. This, like I said, this looks like a fucking Hallmark card. This was so well done, including the Jizz Milk. Look at that. Let's look at the Jizz Milk again, guys. Oh yeah, it's like splooge. Look at that. Look at it come out like frosting. I know you guys want to watch this in slow-mo. Let's do this. Let's watch the splooge in slow-mo. It's actually one of the hardest things to get right in animation is... Oh, and the cookies are all over it. Oh, God. One of the hardest things to do in animation is fluids. And as you can see here, this kind of like has an art style to it, which makes it easier for them. Actually, if you look at this, it's kind of weird. So the milk itself, like they knew that they'd have a tough time with animating it. If you look at this, guys, the milk itself is actually, it's like animated. It's hand drawn. Look at the milk. This is hand drawn. This is all hand drawn, and then once it finally hits the ground, it turns into CG. Like watch it hit the platform here. And now it's CG bubbles. Same thing. This is still hand drawn in here. Still hand drawn. See, it just finished off as hand drawn. Now this is CG'd in. It's a fluid. But you can see why basically they animated it, because it looks really wonky. Animation is, or fluids, as I've talked about multiple times, is one of the hardest things to do in animation ever. Fluid dynamics are extremely hard to do. It looks an awful lot like just really heavy, like splooge or water. It's a very viscous liquid. It doesn't look a whole lot like water in the way water flows, because water is really weird. And oftentimes if you see like water and it looks really runny, it'll actually just look like it forms droplets all together, like really close together, and they never form back together. Extremely hard to do in animation, which is why this is hand drawn in. And then it turns into splooge puddles when it hits the ground. That Santa wants that all over his beak when he shows up. Mm-hmm. Better dancer too, yeah. Should have watched some 90 vids. It's all been done long before him, yeah. Yep. Yeah, this might... I think they might just cite prior works that it's actually public domain because it's been done for so long in different forms. And they aren't going to get anything out of it. It'll actually be interesting if there's airplanes in the season, which there might be. As weird as this fucking sounds, guys, as weird as this fucking sounds, like, I wouldn't actually put it past Epic actually turning their Battle Royale into more of like a Battlefield Royale sort of thing. And, because they're weird enough, Epic's weird enough where they take chances on shit. And we might actually see actual airplanes flying around in Fortnite, which is going to be fucking hilarious. But that being said, Modern War, as I talked about like a couple days ago, modern warplanes are not fun, or yesterday, modern warplanes are not fun. Missile airplanes are not fun. Spinning in a circle constantly is not fun. Dogfighting with like biplanes and shit like this, or like in Battlefield 5, that's pretty fun. That's pretty fun. Like when you make the airplanes too much, just like, I don't know, they just fly in circles, it's not fun. Some of the best flying I've had in a video game was in PlanetSide. I think that's probably one of the best. It's not like Descent where you have 6 angles of freedom and you can move around completely, just like any fucking direction. 6 degrees of freedom, where you can strafe. What's the 6? Strafe, up, down, forward, backwards. You had every angle, and then you have like this too. You can do something like fucking like this, where you can just spin in 6 degrees of freedom. Go.
6 degrees of freedom refers to the freedom of movement of a rigid body in 3-dimensional space.
Yeah, we don't need to listen to her. There you go, guys. Like that. Yaw, pitch, roll, forward, back, left, and right. So this is actually, I don't know why they shaped it like this. This should actually be the front. This should be forward, and this should be back here. Like, rotate it to make it easier to understand. In a nutshell, it doesn't have 6 degrees of freedom. However, in PlanetSide 2, you had something close to it. Like when you're using the thrusters, you could go into a 3D thrust mode, where you could slow down, and then you could actually start moving your airplane like this, which is actually really fucking awesome. Yeah, I'd actually say the most fun I've ever actually had flying any aircraft would hands down go to PlanetSide 2. They had probably the best aircraft in it. Also weird, by the way. Like I tell you guys about how it kind of pisses me off when I hear big broadcasters, especially young ones, talk about like old ancient games. I had a guy I was watching the stream yesterday, and they were talking about how PlanetSide was better than PlanetSide 2. It isn't, by the way. And they wanted a more updated version of PlanetSide, which is basically PlanetSide 2. And like the guy at PlanetSide came out like in 2004. The guy that was talking about was like 10 years old, which I mean is entirely possible to play games. But there's some people that talk about how they're growing up and playing games on like NES, and they're like fucking like 24 or something like that. I guess you could, if you have an old used system and you don't have anything new. But PlanetSide. 2003. That's fucking old shit. PlanetSide 2 is 2010? No, 2012. 13. We're gonna say 13. 2012. Kind of off. 6 years old. On the shitlight engine. Good for them. But yeah. I mean, I still stream that, so have to occasionally talk about PlanetSide 2. But yeah, probably the most fun I've had flying aircraft was in PlanetSide 2. And you can't do the kind of aircraft PlanetSide 2 has in any other game unless it's a sci-fi game, because it doesn't make sense. Where you have, it's kind of 6 degrees of freedom, but not really. It is controlled 6 degrees of freedom. You're not like fucking like Tracer in the sky, something like this. Like Gundam. But there's still a lot of freedom in flying, and it makes it actually work well for when you're actually interacting. So like one of the problems with Battlefield games, guys, is aircraft always feel very disconnected from the ground. They feel like something that just kind of flies above them and occasionally drops bomb and just shits on them. And Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 kind of changed it up a little bit because they have helicopters, and helicopters were kind of in between, and they don't really have helicopters in World War II, unfortunately. There's nothing like that, and they could have pushed the World War I theme further and made it more kind of steampunk if they wanted to. That's why I have a lot of problems with modern games. Modern video games are really boring, really boring. But Battlefield 3 and 4, they had the Little Bird and they have the attack helicopter, which were very... We already discussed them starting their own rival to Steam. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday, Lazy. I don't think it's going to go as the TLDR unless you want to watch yesterday's stream. We talked about the podcast lasted probably 3 hours yesterday. It was pretty long. But we talked about the TLDR because you're a regular, Lazy, and you've been subbed for me for like 32 months, and that's like $60 over the course of 3 years. So, you know, obligated to tell you the TLDR here. But, you know, because you're in the VIP club now. But, actually, no. No, Possessed Skunk was 32. You're only 8. Well, now I'm not sure I can give it to you, Lazy. I just looked up here at my screen with the 2 subs on the screen. You know, I don't know. But to be perfectly honest, it's probably not going to go anywhere. It's a cool idea, and because Epic is such a big company, why not actually at this point? But things I discussed was the main reasons it's not going to take off. People want all their shit in one place. People want all their communities in one place, and it doesn't do either of those. So they might attract the developers. They might attract developers with the fact that they have lower fees. However, at the end of the day, developers are going to want to be on these two. They want these 2 things, which is the social community, and then they know the fact that gamers want their shit in all in one place. So then we discussed why don't they put their games on all the distribution platforms: Origin, GOG, Steam, and Epic Launcher. Why don't they do that? Because if you do that, oftentimes games will use the community features, like Steam, for instance. If they're a low budget game, they'll use the community features from Steam to integrate it into their community because they don't have easy access to that stuff, and because that's one less thing they have to program. So they integrate like Steam Friends into their game. And then they know if they sell on GOG, if they sell on Origin, if they sell on, you know, well, they can't sell on Activision, but, you know, sell on Epic Launcher. If they do that, they're going to split up their community that's going to want to be all on, you know, they want to keep everyone together, especially when you have a very small game. You want to make sure everyone is in the same spot so they don't just get spread out and just poof into nothingness, you know. But yeah, that's the gist of it. It seems people were freaking out about it, but you have to understand there's already other different content distribution platforms, and there's reasons that they haven't went the way of Steam, you know, where they just god tier. It'd actually be nice if Valve actually did something proactive. Oh, I forgot about this. We have to cover that as well, so I don't forget. It'd be nice if Valve actually was a good company where they used to be. You know, back before they kind of just got fat and started rolling around in their like fucking Jabba the Hutt beanbag chairs. You know, they start going like this and have their Princess Leia on their chain over here. They just jerk around every once in a while, you know. Before they did that and they got fat, it would be nice if they do stuff. But for Epic, I don't think they're going to lose anything, and I think it'll actually help them strengthen their brand name as something where people go just for more than just the Unreal Engine or for Fortnite. However, at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to disrupt the ecosystem. So, but anyways, going back, rewinding, off the tangent there, back to the main rails here. PlanetSide 2, some of the best flying I've ever experienced in any game. Most fun experience I've had flying in any game, because it allows you to get down nitty-gritty and personal with the people that you're attacking. Let's see. I used to highlight a lot, especially when I was back back when I played PlanetSide 2, I made a lot of highlights. H1Z1. This is ancient. This is when I made a lot of my highlights back in H1Z1. Huh. That's when I tried to stream HOTS. 2015, guys. Go. Sam reacts to mouse acceleration. Look how many views I got on these. Wow. I was someone. I don't know what Valkyries are. I don't remember. What we're particularly looking for is some of my flying clips here. Air shopping meta, 2014, guys. Back when people were starting to buy DX racers and I talked about them for a while. Titanfall 1. Ah, this is it. Air support Ben Sam. Let's take a look at this. Twitch app, and then it disappeared. Got taken down for some reason. Or integrated, or I don't know what happened to it. I was so young and full of hopes and dreams. Dude, I have so much vehicle resource, or air resource. All I want is infantry resource. Why is the most in-demand resource so scarce? This is, if you can imagine, in Battlefield, these are APCs and people spawning around it, and this aircraft basically has built-in shotgun. Stopping people from repairing so they could actually blow this up. Planet-side meat grinders put Battlefield meat grinders to shame. This is back before they captured chat with highlights. I think I'm out of ammo at this point. No? Oh my god, he was looking for me. God damn it. Guy that backed up firing. He knew it. That was probably one of the guys that killed probably like 2 times and just backed up. When that show. He's looking for me. Damn it. Actually show the kills. There's something like 20-some kills all in this life. But anyways, what you can see here, guys, is the integration of vehicles into the battlefield. So it's not just a vehicle that you fly around above everyone else and you drop bombs on occasion. This vehicle in particular has a shotgun, and other ones are different. I think there's one with a Gatling gun, and one had balls that you shoot at people. But anyways, what you see here is I'm literally right next to the vehicles, next to the ground fight. And I bailed out of the aircraft after he took too much damage from the aircraft, bailed out of the aircraft, and then started killing people on the ground afterwards. Yeah, I kill like, if you look at the kill count here, guys, I got like 20-some kills. Fucking hilarious. PlanetSide 2 had its moments, guys. 100% had its moments where people are just oblivious to the battle and just like repairing shit. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah, it was. Eventually, they added like a kill count to the end when you die, and this is before that. This is a long time ago, 5 years ago. How long have I been streaming for, guys? 6 years in 2000. This last August, 6 years streaming. This is 5 years ago. This is a long time ago. Yeah, that's maybe even more than 20 kills. I got a lot of fucking kills there. But anyways. The whole reason what I wanted to show you here, guys, was the fact that you basically could have an aircraft, and you could participate with the battle. This is a lot like what a helicopter does, only I'm obviously way too close to the battle here, which is fucking hilarious to do. And that's not something you get in modern games. It's not even in Battlefield where they got like those little, like Spitfires flying around and stuff like that. at the end of the day, they're still detached from the ground itself, and it's something you actually miss in modern games, is the ability to interact between... It's like Titanfall, like I was talking about before, where Titanfall has extremely fluid changes between different roles on the battlefield, where you have a Titan and you have infantry gameplay, which is like a vehicle, and you can go between the two insanely fast, and there's almost no difference between what you're doing. And that's what you can see here, where I went from basically flying something equivalent to a helicopter airplane, flying like a helicopter airplane around, and providing close air support for this battle that was going on at this capture point, which is like Conquest. I was flying around this capture point here, and you can see me. The lock-on is a missile launcher, by the way. You can see me get in here with the nitty-gritty, and then my airplane, right side, you can see my health just drains. I just bail out of it, and I jump jet to the ground because I'm a light infantry. I jump jet around to the ground to land, and then I just start doing work on the ground on top of it. It's not something, the amount of versatility that you get is rarely seen in modern video games, just in video games in general. And it's not particular just to PlanetSide. As I mentioned, Tribes also does this extremely well, where it feels like you're actually part of the action, like you're part of the role. When you play a game like Battlefield, for instance, there is very much a detachment between flying around and when you're on the ground, because helicopters were kind of that bridge, and there aren't any helicopters in World War II. One of the guys that used to play it is Widgety Bear. Still have him. I still watch him. He shows up on occasion, but his cup of tea was Battlefield 4 flying around a Little Bird, because a Little Bird is very, very versatile. Like, it's a very, very close proximity ground support vehicle. Very close ground support vehicle. And it's not something you get in a lot of games in general. It's not something you see. At the end of the day, like flying around and shit like this, you don't get the same feel. No matter the games, I don't think there's been a single game since like PlanetSide, like Tribes, then there's PlanetSide, and then I guess Battlefield 3 and 4 with the Little Bird, but that's like one vehicle. They have all these other air vehicles flying around, but you can't really offer this. So I think we played Battlefront, and with Battlefront 2, like, it's not really the same thing. You couldn't really just land on the ground and repair your vehicle. It wasn't really the same thing as even playing, like, PlanetSide, with the versatility of the vehicles in addition to integrating them with ground-based combat. It's not something you normally see, and I keep saying that over and over again, because there's a lot of really weird things, and like I mentioned before, I want to make my own video game, and it's like World of Warcraft isn't just their idea. World of Warcraft wasn't just, like, a video game that, it wasn't the first MMO. It wasn't the first MMORPG. It's not that they didn't do one thing extremely good. It's that they could put all the pieces together and make a really, really intricate and complex, intricate, but at the same time, you had niches that you could play and felt as though you're actually participating in the battles. You had niches in the battlefield itself that you could actually take part in, and then not actually feel as though like you're separated. But if you play a game like Battlefield, if you play Battlefield and you fly around in an aircraft, it feels like you're not part of the ground. It feels like you don't really participate in ground battle. And integrating all, like if you have something like Battlefield where you have air, ground, and then you have vehicles, ground vehicles, you have everything put together, it's not really the same thing. Even though it technically is, it doesn't feel the same. They didn't find a way to mesh them all together in a very well thought out manner. So even though there's like Battlefield 2142, for instance, it did not really have the same feel as shit like this, unfortunately. So there's only a handful of games that put everything together well. And while PlanetSide definitely had a lot of faults, there's a lot of things that it did really cool, and one of which was just the massive battles, which even though Battlefield kind of has 64 players in it, it's still not the same thing. There's just cases where you shoot people like what just happened there, and then they just don't take damage at all. Hit registration was my favorite topic back when I played PlanetSide 2. But like something like this is just not where I can buy it. You don't even buy an airplane and fly around and literally have no regard whatsoever for this vehicle that I'm in, and then just bail out and then just fly around on the ground and poop on people. That's tough to get. That's tough to get even in Tribes. Tribes is just like a 64 player shenanigans thing. I think Tribes, not Vengeance, we don't talk about Vengeance. Tribes Ascend was only 32 players. So it didn't even get the 64 player games going. Which, even though, like, at the end of the day, Fortnite still Fortnite is the king of battle royale games, and technically the king of first-person shooters right now. But there is a lot of places that you can go. I still do not believe competitive is the way of the future. Competitive is niche, and it's not something it's fun to look at on occasion, but it's not something most people want to play. It's not something most people want to do. And if you just look at the amount of people that play like World of Warcraft, where they just run around and do transmogs and stuff like that, it's competitive is fun, but it's not something people just want to have fun sometimes. They want to play TF2. They want to run around and just do random shit sometimes, even if it's not really that productive. And you can't always fit that into a super intense game like competitive play in Overwatch or playing Fortnite, where you just always try to win at the end of the game. You have people that actually they want to do other things. So if you have like so much expression, you have people that play, and it's very popular is the creative mode, which now you can apparently save your creative mode, which I guess that's where people want to go, because they don't want to actually play the game. They want to participate in the game, but they don't actually want to play the game the same way other people are playing it. They want options, and options are something that are actually really becoming more and more rare in video games. And as we talked about before, basically Fortnite went back to pump and peak. They went back to a way of playing that basically is just what the big streamers wanted. They want every game just to be about this one decisive shot, and where generally people with higher pings can't participate in, but they don't tell you that. And generally, it's just one of those things where it's very, very methodical, and they want to do it because they're good at it, and they want to do it because that's what they did very well at one point. It's something they became known for, and that was during their peak. So they want, obviously, it weighs in with money too, with monetization. But anyways, moving on here, guys. Battle Pass, more propaganda.
It's a new season.
Oh boy.
That means a brand new Battle Pass. The Season 7 Battle Pass features over 100 unique cosmetics to earn as you level it up. When you first buy the pass, you'll instantly unlock brand new progressive outfits, Zenith, and Lynx. Plus, if you opt in for the Battle Bundle, you'll get Sergeant Winter too. New to the Season 7 Battle Pass are wraps. Wraps are earned through leveling up the Battle Pass and allow you to cosmetically customize weapons and vehicles in-game.
It didn't take them long for skins, guys.
Stylish outfits. There are 100 tiers and over 100 rewards, ranging from new outfits, pets,
eventually they were going to
toys,
add skins,
emotes, and more. Of course, none of them affect gameplay, and you'll keep all your rewards after the season ends. Plus, all Battle Pass owners will get early access to their own island in Creative, a brand new place for you to design games with friends and build your dream Fortnite. The Season 7 Battle Pass is available in the in-game store right now for just 950 V-Bucks. Hope you enjoy Season 7, and we'll see you in-game.
So I hope they don't, these wraps, I hope these do not turn into new models.
Plus,
they shouldn't. Because if they're new models, it confuses people as to figuring out what guns that you're actually using. Or they... Surprising it actually kind of took them that long to do skins for weapons.
To design games with friends and build your dream Fortnite.
There's flying, by the way. By the way, let's go back to this right here.
With friends and build your dream Fortnite.
So there is flying.
The Season 7 Battle Pass.
This looks kind of like a specialized game mode though for an LTM.
The Season 7 Battle Pass is available in the tiers and pets more. Awards.
This is a big deal though. The skins, everyone's gonna freak out about this.
Weapons and vehicles in game.
It looks like all they do is their skins for weapons, which is the way they should be. Because you don't want to change the model, because model is how people identify weapons and what they do. Same with sounds. For instance, kind of something that steps over the line, as I mentioned, I play a lot of HOTS off stream. And one of the characters, specifically Vala, has a skin, no, not Vala, Nova, has a skin that makes her look like Vala. And some people use it to confuse you, and it is really confusing in the game because you look like Vala, which is another hero. And they really, really should consider removing it and refunding people because it actually confuses the players. It confuses me. Eventually you figure it out, especially if you hit tab, you're like, oh, that's that guy. But when you're in the heat of the moment, and you're just like short-circuiting shit in your brain to attack someone, it doesn't click that it's actually Nova instead of Vala, so you deal with the character in a different way. $950 is a perfect price point. Yeah. As we were talking about before, Microtransactions are about microtransactions. They're about numbers. It's about getting people to impulse buy shit. And one of the reasons, as I mentioned before, I don't think anyone's really went out, because video game development is all new. I don't think anyone's really went out of their way to weigh and balance the pricing models, and Epic just knows they sell $20 skins, so then they just keep doing it. But I think there could be a big market for them just selling like skins in a kiosk on a card, you know, like a credit card that you can just go to, you know, if you ever seen those credit card kiosks in like Walmart, if they just plop one of those things down in an aisle, and when you're there buying your Snickers bar and your pack of Cheetos while you're in the checkout line, the tiny little pack of Cheetos in the checkout line, I mean, if you have like a $3 skin sitting there, that's something you could actually impulse buy. $2 skin, especially for older skins that they might not be too new. Like, when you start tiering down older skins so they're cheaper so more people buy them that don't own them, you want to get everyone to buy them. And that means newness starts to play in, where you sell things to people because they're new. It has that new car smell to it. And then people pay for that. And they don't feel betrayed if you mark it down later on, because that's really just the way it should work, because you paid for basically the time to have it brand new and no one actually had it. But oh, they have a bunch of videos. Wow. Normally they have like one, sometimes two videos. They have 3.
What's up, Fortnite community? I'm here at Epic
Hi.
HQ for a special kickoff event. We've got something new and exciting coming for you in Season 7.
Oh boy,
Fortnite
you look
Fortnite
super
Creative.
excited. That's really loud.
On December 13th, we'll be launching
How much
Fortnite
cocaine
Creative.
did you snort before you
In
did this
mode,
video?
You can build on your own private island and also design games with friends. The initial release will be rough, but if you want to jump in and check it out, pick up the Battle Pass for a week of early access starting December 6th. Hop in and explore with your squad.
His mouth is
Devise
too
action-packed
stiff.
combat modes, or shoot your cinematic masterpiece.
Like he's trying to be too
Your
uppity,
imagination to create
too energetic.
more modes, or edit with friends. Everything you make is saved from session to session. While preparing
Fake
for
Brad
launch,
Pitt
you
or
guys
that
have 16 amazing
the other
creators to dive
black
deep
guy I
into
think
Fortnite
did a really good job.
creation.
I don't remember his name, so we're just going off his skin color because that's the only identifying factor I remember about him.
Fortnite Creative in the coming weeks. Until then, it's your boy Mooney signing off.
So creative mode.
Launching Fortnite Creative. In this mode, you can build on your own private island and also design games with friends. The
Interesting.
initial release will be rough, but if you want to jump in and check it out, pick up the Battle Pass for a week of early access starting December 6th. Hop in and explore with your squad. Devise
So Epic, if you're still listening, even though I shit on your game and I'm playing other games right now, Epic, if you're listening, these videos you should release as teasers before you ever release this client patch. Just like a week in advance, just to get people salivating and just get them hard up and panting when you release the content patch. As far as I know, they don't do this. These are videos made for specifically this. This right here, this little snippet should be in a tweet followed with this video. You should do that and obviously integrate it into the patch notes like this, but get this out on the social media before the patch even launched. I'm pretty sure they didn't do that. But like stuff still leaks out like through like other sources on their website. Yeah, now basically now they're tweeting the stuff from the patch notes. Yeah, the top video was tweeted 4 hours ago. This video was tweeted 53 minutes ago. Oh, no, they did. They did 22 hours ago. They tweeted this guy. That's not long enough ago. They should do like a week in advance to kind of get people really in the mood. So this is 22 hours ago. That's good. But yeah, December 4th. Epic Store was on the 4th. Oh my god, Save the World update, dev update. I'm sorry, I don't watch that. Maybe I could save the world. I could save your world, Epic, but I'm not going to because I played Save the World. I played that. I bought the game in Founder. I bought the Founders edition of the game specifically for Save the World, and I was very disappointed. It was just like they threw a bunch of random shit together. Yep. So basically, this came out basically essentially a day ago. Actually, less than a day ago. This came out 8 a.m. today. Actually, yesterday came out 8 a.m. yesterday before, and patch day was 3 a.m. today. So this basically came out less than 24 hours before the patch released and day of the patch. All three of these videos, especially this one, because this doesn't really show off that much. This should be out like a week ago. This should have been out a week ago. Then, something like this on maybe today. This should have been today because this is just more informational. So this may be today or yesterday, today being Wednesday, the day of the patch. Should have been like on Tuesday. And then this should be like a teaser for on Friday where people get salivating on the weekend and just like drooling, just like, oh god, I want to go play some Fortnite right now. Oh god, I can build. You know how much I can build in creative mode, guys? It just blows my mind. That sort of thing. Exactly like that, by the way.
Action-packed combat modes, or shoot your cinematic masterpiece. Use your imagination to create your modes or edit with friends. Everything you make is saved from session to session. While preparing for launch, we invited out 16
Ral's play
amazing
competitive
creators
video.
to dive
No.
deep into Fortnite Creative. For more info, head over to our blog for a full list of their channels. Stay tuned for additional info on Fortnite Creative in the coming weeks. Until then, it's your boy Mooney signing off.
Thanks, your boy Mooney.
The release will be rough. We'll be playing games with friends.
This will be interesting. I guess this is more so like Playground has always been kind of like a hodgepodge together, and it's worked for a while. So this, I think, is designed to replace Playground and actually be something that you can actually do a little bit more with, which is more like Fortnite, or not Fortnite, Minecraft, which isn't a bad thing. Kind of curious as to, I don't know. I guess it's creative, so.
And also design games with friends.
Yeah, I guess.
Release will be rough.
Some people are going to do that.
Jump in and check it out. Pick up the Battle Pass for a week of early access starting December 6th. Hop in and explore with your squad. Devise
Upselling their Battle Pass.
modes,
I don't think they need to do that. I bought one skin, and every season I bought a Battle Pass.
Your modes or edit with friends. Everything you make is saved from session to session. While preparing for launch, we invited out 16 amazing creators to dive deep into Fortnite Creative. For more info, head over to our blog for a full list of their channels. Stay tuned for additional info on Fortnite Creative.
Special event for content creators, guys. Basically, big streamers on Twitch. Cool. Never got there. Although they watch my... They watch my stream anyways. Oh, hey. Hey, look what... Hey, I guess they're adding the plane to Battle Royale, guys. It's actually kind of interesting. I don't know... Like, even if they add something like this to Battle Royale... it's probably not going to change much. They can have planes flying around forever, and it's really not going to change much of anything because that's not really how the game's played. So, even if they have planes flying around, they aren't going to really get kills or really do anything. It's going to be like the golf carts. Interesting, though. So there's going to be biplanes in Battle Royale. I wonder if this is going to be seasonal or if this is permanent. Interesting, though. Wraps. Your weapons, vehicles, a new look with wraps. Yeah, so skins for guns. And more, just gets people all hot and bothered. They need those wraps, guys. Good for them. And purple text. This literally should just be in purple. So like you don't even look at it. It's like purple. Okay. Updated the minimum macOS. Okay. Improve the data layout. Still no. Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked through these patch notes before I started streaming, but I assume there's not going to be any notice about extra servers in NA. Unfortunately, no new hosting in NA. Ping normalization? No. Things that actually get me to play the game again? Nope. X4 Stormwing plane, 5 seats total, 4 passengers on the wings and a pilot. Has a mounted machine gun. Be careful, it can overheat. Players will go into the skydiving state when they exit the X4 Stormwing. Remember what we were just talking about with PlanetSide 2? It's not really the same thing though. PlanetSide 2, a lot more versatile. Basically, when you bail out of your airplane, it's just going to crash in the ground. Use the roll buttons to sharp turns. Pressing both will fly upside down. Double tapping roll buttons will do a barrel roll. There's only so much, so even if they add airplanes, there's only so much that they're going to do because there's no real objective. It's not like Conquest and Battlefield. The impact of airplanes on the game itself is going to be very, very minimal. And it's just something people can do for fun. Which is probably why they added it to the game. Okay, balloons. Balloons have been reworked so that they're equipped. It is possible to use a weapon and items. Oh my god, they might actually be useful now. Players can attach up to 3 balloons to their back, lifting them off the ground when the 3rd balloon is attached. Press jump while in the air and release balloons at 1 at a time. Reduce stack size from 20 to 10. So they made it so you can actually attack with them. It's like a shitty jet, a really, really shitty... Maybe it's actually a jetpack. That's fucking hilarious, guys, if the balloons are now a jetpack. And no one's ever actually really been against the balloons. That is hilarious. I wonder, they're really, just to stick it to the community, they really should just re-add the jetpack back, like in its current state, just to see what happens. It actually sounds an awful lot like balloons are a jetpack now. Although, much more difficult to actually use. Less control over it. They really should just add the jetpack back. I don't even know why they do this stuff. And improve the scope on the thermal and scoped AR. That's not going to change because you have the AK and the silenced assault rifle, and both are far superior to the scoped AR. It doesn't matter what you do with the AR, you basically obsoleted it the moment you made those 2 guns. And, I mean, the AK basically obsoleted the other assault rifles, so. Okay. Vaulted items. Each new season gives us opportunity to evaluate the current item rotation. Our goal is to have a reasonable amount of items to learn while avoiding duplicates, overlapping functionality. The vaulted shadow stones, Port-a-Fort, Chiller, Clinger, because they're going to add skiing to the game. That's why this is going. Port-a-Fort, yeah, because it's not really anything that's ever been used. If this comes back, it's going to be a trap. There's no reason that this should have been an item in the game. Shadow stones. This is basically kind of a makeshift cloak. I do hope they actually add backpacks back to the game. Double barrel shotgun. Yeah, because basically it was obsoleted by the new shotguns, which were unneeded buff to the game. Unneeded buff to the game, just designed to placate big streamers who just want to show off how much they can one-shot people. Because they're low ping fucks. Shockwave grenade. Not sure why they vaulted that. Yeah, this one in particular. This felt like a makeshift backpack. This is because skiing. Also, vaulted clingers. Not sure why they vaulted this. Not sure why they vaulted this. Unless mobility item. I don't know. Maybe they know something I don't. Gameplay, new biome, iceberg, new location. They put biome in here. Frosty Flights, Polar Peak, Happy Hamlet. Icy surfaces can be found in snowy areas. Players will slide on certain frozen surfaces. Location removed right there. They're totally going to add skis at some point. Skiing's going to be a thing, 100%. Not only because it was in the teaser pictures, but because skiing in tribes, like the chillers were never the same. Chillers just removes like friction from your feet. But if you skied in tribes, that's an entirely different experience. Zip lines can be found around iceberg and near expedition posts. Latch on zip from one end to the other. Cool. Cool shit. This is like those little pop things on the ground, the little geysers that pop you up in the air. Same thing, little environmental effects. Epic has always, if you just base it on the Unreal series, Epic has always been a fan of environmental integration where you can actually participate, like, not participate, integrate, you can interact, that's what I was looking for. You can interact with the wherever you are, and it'll actually provide some sort of benefit to you as a player, or you can use it, or it actually adds to the immersion. Pro immersion on any sort of environment. isn't the way all games work. Sometimes games just see a map as just a map and it's not part of the gameplay, right? Increase the chance final circus ending on the outer edges of the map. Cool. That gives you weird and quirky locations. New pop cup. Hero cap was increased. No, it's about the same as the 500, 500, 500, only you end up with more wood. So you're actually going to go out of your way to actually use higher level materials more sparingly. This is a good idea. This is a good idea. The material's still way, way too much material. However, this is a great idea. You receive 150-50 wood, stone, metal on elimination. That's a horrible idea. That's good. This I still think is wrong because part of playing a battle royale game is weighing and balancing your battles and also deciding if you should leave at some point or you should disengage. And also weighing, balancing, like when you use health items. And sometimes you get fucked with your pants down because you overextended and you're in a bad situation now. That's just the way the game goes. People should not be given everything in the world. Like this shit. It's right here. No. And this, no. This is for people that just run around and have no regards for actually meta in the game or for strategy. All they want to do is just kill people and have the game take care of them. Highly disagree with shit like this. Circle 9 now travels twice as far, but takes twice as long to close, so this is going to actually encroach on Circle 8. Some tournaments will now feature a limit on the number of matches that play. This is our Pop Cup is tournament. This is not a tournament, and this is dumb. Pop Cup is just a name for their experimental game mode that's usually used in the tournaments. Actual real skirmishes, which are their tournaments. Wording, just really fucking weird wording going on here. It's like they had to argue with someone that just wanted to name something some way. It doesn't make sense. Like they really, really wanted to name each one of their experimental modes. Instead of picking a version number, guys, let's call it a weird name. This is going to be the Explorer Pop Cup because it's during winter. Yeah, because the Explorer, you guys saw the Explorer in the video, right? It makes sense. It's like a passphrase. Yeah, so not into this, which is they're still keeping this around because it's one of the big things that big streamers still really enjoy. I'm telling you right now, if they ever add more servers and normalize pings, like streamers are just gonna get fucking wiped. Like the big streamers with low pings are just going to get so pissed off. It's going to change everything, absolutely everything in the game. The way the game's played, the way the people interact with the game. Like, they won't be complaining about getting plus 50 effective health and elimination because they're going to be taking less chances and they're going to be more careful with how they play. It's going to slow down the game for them, but that's because they're already playing at, like, demigod level where people are moving like fucking in sludge because low pain gives you such a huge advantage. You just, like, have a higher overall APM and just actions in general in the game. And it has nothing to do with skill. It has everything to do with your Lancy. But, as I mentioned before, if the dirty little truth about Fortnite ever gets out, that's going to be a tough cookie for them to deal with. But that's really tough to prove. Although there's already been YouTube videos that we've looked at that really just showcase it and show what huge advantage you get from a low ping. They haven't really become that public of knowledge. It would piss a lot of people off if they ever really figured out how big of an advantage you get from a low ping in the game. Optimize the performance of the dynamite fuse. Good job. There's probably, actually, the dynamite fuse is probably so the thing about that is the dynamite fuse is probably a physics animation. It's like a little pigtail, and when it's burning, it actually probably disappears. So there actually probably is something there to optimize, even though it sounds ridiculous and small and unimportant. Yeah, no improvements to the audio engine. All the stuff that I really wanted, and I still want them to work on in the game. Just going on. Well, I've been talking about the lack of 3D audio in the game basically since it launched, but problems with low latency going on 12 months now, and 4 months since they said they're going to add sub-region matchmaking and new servers. And nothing. Vehicles now have unique damage numbers, pop color to show damage numbers. Cool. Mobile. Oh, hey, they got patch notes for creative now, guys. Oh, and you know what the pecking order here is, guys. You know what the pecking order is for what they. This is the pecking order right here: blue, green, then purple. Which actually, you know, if we wanted to read a little bit into this, probably means there's more people that play. There's more people that play Playground than play Save the World. Holy shit. So like an entirely different game mode in the game that the game was based and founded upon. There's more people that play creative than play Save the World. Like, if you're talking about like order of release too, like, I mean, this should have been first. Or like order of care, you'd expect these to be at the bottom because almost no one's going to care about these. But as we can see here, it's not because this is the newest, because then this would be above Battle Royale. But this is 100% based on what people want to read first. And if we wanted to read into this, guys, I'm pretty sure this means that there's more people that play the Playground LTM in Fortnite than play Save the World. That sucks, but yeah. I could fix Save the World for you, Epic, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm sorry. That's a train wreck. Sometimes you just gotta watch train wrecks because they're fun, you know. That's one of the reasons to keep Save the World around. But interesting. Probably not gonna go too deep into this. I don't think we're gonna cover creative because I don't really have any interest in playing creative or in exploits of creative. However, creative is interesting to that and see what they're doing with. 4-hour time limit. Battle Pass owners will start with 4 islands to allow for different creations. On December 13th, all players will receive 4 islands. Friends can visit your islands, and island owners can set permissions. Cool. However, it's kind of like it's like a shitty version of Minecraft, actually. You know what they should allow? You know what Epic should do, guys? Is there should be a creative browser. And islands should be set to public, where people can go in and look. They can't do anything. They can't interact. But they can look at your islands. And you can allow people to set their islands to private. You should allow people to browse all the islands as long as it isn't set to private. So, you can rate it too. We gotta throw some social at this too. Is allowing people to not only, because if you see shit on Fortnite on this page once in a while that gets upvoted, that's one thing. This is not integrated with the game, and not everyone visits Reddit, and not everyone gives a shit about Reddit. A lot of people do. However, something like this, the whole reason you do creative and stuff like this is because you want people to see what you're doing, right? I mean, there's some people that don't. Maybe they're going to make sex statues in Fortnite with blocks. Who knows? It's probably been done in Minecraft, but specifically with this, like, you should allow people to go into your island or an island clone and basically play in it, just not be able to actually do anything in the island, like change stuff. Maybe even allow people just to walk around in it. You can set it to private, right? Yeah, so this should actually be taken further. This whole idea should be taken further, where people can go into your island, they just can't do anything. Like, maybe not even player collision, like they can just walk around and chat with people and stuff, like Second Life shit. It's giving you $100 million ideas, Epic. If you haven't already thought of this, I assume you have, because this is kind of straightforward. This is an evolution, basically, of the creative concept, and basically what other games have done with creative is, well, the Minecraft hasn't. You have to share your shit on forums and stuff, and that's not really what you want to see. You want to be able to integrate with the game and make it so people can have a way to show off popular works and people to rate popular works and make stuff trending so you can actually see bits and pieces of the game and go around and look at stuff. Because a lot of people, for instance, myself, for instance, I'm not really interested in making statues in creative. However, I am interested in Battle Royale. And one of the other things is I would, you know, when I'm bored, I wouldn't mind actually looking at work people have made in creative. I'm not going to go on YouTube to do it, but if I was in game and eating or something, or streaming, you know, and I'm bored or something, I wouldn't mind actually browsing the creative category. And maybe this is here. Let's finish reading the patch notes. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe they already did this. It said that you can creative hubs access to your own island, islands of other friends who have joined on the server, or featured islands selected from the community. Player islands are creative, spaces automatically allow saves. So this might be what I was just talking about. You can set permissions to determine your friends' edit build while visiting. This is why I thought it was only for friends. Damage rails? I mean, they could take this one step further and you should be able to, like, spawn zombies. You can make, like, a last stand map or something, kind of like Orcs Must Die. I mean, that's partially what Save the World is anyways. Save the World just like a combination of just a bunch of random games that never really made sense. This actually could just be a better form of Save the World. Players will have the ability to join in progress games with any of their epic friends, even if they're not in a party together. That's kind of what I was talking about, but not really. Like, you have to consider that people's friends lists are going to be pretty small and generally limited to a small group of people. You have to be able to expand. You have to be able to expand your friend network. And I mean, if you want to take this further, you could just make it, if a friend of a friend has joined one of these friends' servers, they'll immediately gain access to it and not be able to do anything, but they can go into it. So you technically could have a tree of friends that visit friends. You can make a really cool diagram of this, by the way. Make a friend of friends, and every time they join, it's kind of what they do with certain types of crypto, is they make it so you can get invites based on trickle down. It's like trickle from friend to friend to friend, and it'll spread between different groups of friends. It'll branch out. However, I really just think this should just be available that you can look at anyone's island. You can look at anyone's island you want to, unless they have it set to private. And people can rate them. And then you can look at trending, hot islands, cool islands, new islands, interesting works of art. You know, there's all sorts of categories. Basically anything for like YouTube. You can organize YouTube videos. The same kind of content organization for something like creative. Yeah, so I think right now, yeah, so it's only players will have the ability to join in progress games with any of their epic friends, even if they are not in a party together. Yeah, so this is only if the island is in progress, and it's only your friend circle, which is, like I said, it's kind of limiting. What they really should do is make it so it's something that anyone can join, unless they set it to private. Just be allowed to join anyone's. It's not even limited to friends here. That'd be pretty cool. And then you can set up all sorts of categories for separating creative and, like, you know, making like categories for creative or things like that. You can literally, I mean, they're kind of they have small things in here, but you could just make Minecraft. This is just like, this is a start. Timer blocks. You could literally just make, like, once they start adding redstone to the game, call it bluestone. You can call it epic stone. How about that? Epic stone. Epic blocks. Epic stone. I don't know. Kind of the weird thing about, like, Minecraft is the blocks are about half your height, and which makes it much more versatile. And in Fortnite, the blocks are like your height and a half taller than you. So little bit of a difference in size there. But yeah, they totally should just allow people to just like join other people's islands if they want to and look around, even if they aren't, the island's not active, and even if they aren't part of the friends group, they should be able to look around, just not touch or do anything on the island. That would actually allow a lot more opportunity for making friends too. If you find something really cool, or you find a server with a bunch of people on it, just kind of idling around, you know, RP servers or whatever too. You know, for their sexting, for their furry RP. Join the furry RP server in Fortnite. Everyone would love that. Sure, it'd happen. Maybe that's what they're trying to stop, is furry. They don't want Second Life to happen in Fortnite. Something, I don't know. Oh, speaking of which, the Epic Launcher, one of the things I was reading an article on it, by the way, of them doing the software for the Epic Launcher. Not for the software, but for their new software distribution platform, where they're talking about it. They said the only content they aren't going to allow is adult content, which I don't agree with, by the way. I'm pro. I guess they don't want to become a haven for adult content, but I'm pro adult content. You can't get rid of that, especially because I'm an adult. But I think even Steam allows adult content now. You gotta remember to do that. Anyways, most exciting parts of the patch so far. I read something about them increasing the size of explosions on explosive weapons. That does not appear to be here. Yeah. I heard that they're going to increase the size of explosive weapons. That was on someone else's stream. Apparently that isn't true. W. Yeah. So anyways, most interesting part of the new patch is creative. Will be interesting to see where that goes, even though I don't want to play it. Probably the changes here, particularly with this. This is still way too many materials. However, interesting that they did this. This shouldn't have happened. We should this. I don't know what kind of impact that'll have. It's always kind of weird seeing what happens with circles when they change. Probably the biggest impact in the game. I mean, there's an airplane, but I don't really think that's going to change much of anything. Also, why is there 5 seats? You only can have 4 people in a group. How does 5 seats work? I guess big game modes. This probably will be something more particular to like 50-50s. Balloons is probably the biggest change in this game mode. Yeah. This is basically like a poor man's jetpack, just as FYI. Poor man's jetpack right here. They really should just add the jetpack back. It never should have been removed in the first place. Yeah. Honestly, there aren't really that many changes. Not really that many changes. I heard, which I was kind of interested to see what they're doing. I heard that there was going to be an increase in explosive damage. Not damage, size. Explosive size. I heard 25% bigger, and there's nothing here about explosive size. So, misinformation or leaked information that was taken out. But this will be cool. As I mentioned, they should totally one-up the game with this. They could just make an entirely new tab inside Fortnite where you can click on it for creative, and then you can look at different islands and stuff, and you can organize it. That could be someone's project, literally. But otherwise, yeah, not really anything that much. It's the start of a new season, a lot of cosmetic changes, biome changes. I wonder if the onesie and Reddit was this onesie and they added it to the game, or if this onesie is actually a different onesie and they just wanted onesie options. Alright, let's go over the Reddits real quick, guys, and then we're going to play some Battlefield 5. I'm going to cry. Cool. Original. Okay. Let's take a quick peek at the comments on Season 7. Where are the wraps for explosives? Yeah, hamster pets before cats. Yeah, because they're trying to make that guy's Reddit cat skin, but now look like they wanted to do it intentionally. The guy that had his cat die, who's like 14, is like Mittens or something. Something generic. Cat. Fucking weird. That's why they did it. Would have never thought to see planes when I started playing. I don't understand it, why they did this. It's fucking weird. And this is like the Cuddle Captain Blue variety. The furry is like, this is fucking weird. Okay. Making the game more playable for more people instead of just sweaty streamers and content creators. How dare they? Yep. But now, it really doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be borderline unusable for killing people. So, I could see a lot of people making trick shots in airplanes, and just, it's like the bush. It's like, it's one of those things where you think it's like a interesting idea, and then you see it in action, and you realize just what a detriment it is. Make bouncers great again, no. Onesie fans rejoice she made it in. Maybe too early to say for sure, but planes seem kind of OP in my opinion, being able to maneuver through the skies and shoot people at the same time, plus jump out and redeploy. It's kind of broken. What the fuck? Have you ever flown in any other game in existence? You fly in a straight line. You're like literally sniper bait in this game. There's no way you're going to be able to shoot anyone. And if your sole desire is to get to the end of the game, there's a lot of ways you could do it just by hiding in corners, and you're still not going to win. So, like I said, I don't think the plane is going to really have any impact on the gameplay. You're probably just going to see people crashing in the structures and people bitching about them like getting kamikazed or something. Like, they crash into a person and explode. And they're like, oh my god, this guy's so horrible, he just crashed into me. Oh my god, that's so broken. Apparently the plane has problems with jerking around. Yeah, not sure why they removed the clinger. Clinger actually had a purpose with trying to weed people out of 1x1s that just try for invulnerability. Yep. Season 6 summed up in one clip. Council, guys. The summary of Season 6. What? Okay. That got 6,000 upvotes. Tried building a deer in playground. The unveiling. Ah, it looks like a reindeer. Cool. Season 6 wood map, reactive. Pretty cool. Goodbye, Season 6. It's been fun. There's all the skins. Smash together. Good. And this one. A lot of cool skins in there, though. Kind of funny that like only the female skins are just really cool looking. Guys are so generic. Widowmaker. Guys ready for tomorrow? Let the biplane. Kids love their memes. Yeah, not really anything that interesting. What? Huh. Apparently this does not actually take you back to the Fortnite page. They have a bug, guys. They have a bug with the Reddit. Uh-oh. Fix it. Fix it, Epic. Fix it, Epic. This should not take me back to reddit.com. They're missing, like, the little Fortnite thing here. And it looks like their top banner here is off position, too. Maybe it's even supposed to be... Maybe it's supposed to be replaced. Let's shift F5. No, nothing. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Let's take a look at Overwatch, and then we'll take a look at... Odd, and then play. I do in-game media for Dallas Mavericks after 2 years asking to finally let me do an Overwatch video. Overwatch.
Play of the game.
I've got you in my sights. Get out of my way. I'm on fire. Oh, let's break it down.
Nothing's gonna stop me.
It's high noon. Ooh, nice one. Justice reigns from above. Let the dragon consume you. Simple geometry. Find the hole.
What? White guys still play basketball? Oh. Cool. Way too late, though. This should have been, like, Overwatch was a big deal, like, 2 years ago. A year ago, even. They waited too long on that one. Positively fearsome. Wow. Wow. Trying to make the badass look cute. Is that a bunny tail? Is that a bear tail? Is that what I saw there, guys? What? Is this actually a Roadhog skin? What? Is this actually this would actually be a great Roadhog skin? Not gonna lie. I hope that's actually in the game. Sort of how I got kicked by a Widow headshot only server. Alrighty. Not really much going on here. That's to be expected. Overwatch kind of pedaling down. Powering down. There usually really isn't anything interesting on the COD Reddits, but we'll check anyways. Yeah. Nope, nothing. Kinda COD community kinda lacking in general.